Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to video number 9. This is going to be our second last video, which means we have one more, and we will be wrapping up our series on computer basic skills. And it has been great. It's been great so far. I think you guys have been doing a terrific job. I think everybody has been very engaged, and it's been fun. It has been fun. So I hope you guys are ready to come towards the end. I hope you have learned a lot in this time. I hope that you're going to continue to learn and play around with all of the wonderful things that technology has to offer, and more than anything, that you guys will be able to put these skills to the test and to use in great ways. It's very, very, very exciting. So last video, last week we talked about the basics of PowerPoint. So you guys had quite a few questions on that. I hope I answered everybody's questions. As always, even though we move on to the next video, every week, you guys can still ask me questions about any of the previous videos. It doesn't have to be just that week. So I hope I've answered everybody's questions. I did email everybody back. But if you guys have more questions or anything else comes up, please, give me a call. I got a couple calls. Shoot me an email. Whatever works best for you guys, and we'll answer those for you for sure. Okay. All right. So today, as I mentioned in the last video, we're going to be looking at how to add, set up, or troubleshoot a printer, mouse, keyboard, basically anything that you can plug into your computer, any kind of accessory, anything additionally that you can plug into your computer. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not. But especially more than anything, I know printers can be very, very finicky. They can be very touchy. Sometimes they want to work, sometimes they don't. And even sometimes after you've had them plugged in for a while, sometimes they act up, right? Or they give you trouble. So first thing we're going to do today, and obviously, guys, every issue that comes up when it comes to these things is going to be very different. It's going to be unique. There's a lot of issues that can be resolved trying the things that I'm going to show you, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be the answer to solve all of the problems that might come up, right? So just keep that in mind. I can't show you guys everything, as I've mentioned before. So this is just basic troubleshooting. I think that's what we can call this video, just basic troubleshooting. Because more than anything, these things will solve the problem maybe 8 out of 10 times, but you're still going to run into that, 1 or 2 times that it's not going to do it, right? So first thing you guys are going to want to do, you want to go to the start menu, right? So remember we talked about that, the start menu in the corner, right? And open up control panel. Now you can either search for it, or it should say right on the start menu, it should say control panel. If you can't find it, when you hit the window icon on the bottom left corner of your screen, there should be a little search bar at the bottom, and you can just type in control panel. By now you guys should know how to do that, because we've gone over all this, right? So if you need a second to find it, make sure you pause the video and you can come back to it. So you don't feel rushed or anything. Just pause the video, go find control panel, and we'll meet you back here when you're ready. So once you've gotten to control panel, sometimes it will look like this. So don't worry if it doesn't look the other way, or it might look like this. That's okay. It's all in the same place. Some people find this easier. I find that it's a lot. There's just too many things. So what I like to do, if you guys just go up here on the top right hand corner where I clicked, it's just view by. I usually just like to have it by category. It just makes it cleaner, easier, in my opinion. So if we're having an issue with a printer, maybe a keyboard, a mouse, some kind of USB device that we've plugged into the computer, you always want to go to hardware and sound. Okay, and it's going to open up this, right? So I'll go back. If you left click on hardware and sound, right, it'll take us here. Now here you have a lot of options. This is basically anything that is connected to the computer, anything that needs to work separate from the main brain of the computer will be right here, right? So within your computer, you have things like a graphics card. You have something else called a sound card. You have something called a CPU or a power source, which CPU, for those of you that are curious, stands for Central Power Unit. Now, there's also another kind of CPU, which is a Central Processing Unit. That's different. So the power center that I'm talking about is going to be a CPU, which is a Central Power Unit. Okay. You also have things like so I mentioned your graphics card, your audio card, right? So that's why we have these two options here. You have power, sound, which is similar to this one down here, just different options, as well as basically anything else that you might add to your computer if you add anything else. But the main thing we're going to look at today is right at the very top. As you guys can see here, devices and printers. That is where we're going to want to go. So we're just going to click on it. Now I'll go back. I just want to show you guys really quick. Under devices and printers, you guys are going to see these options. So they're just additional options. If you already know what you're looking for, it makes it easier, right? So in this case, if for example, say we just bought a printer, you can go right to add a device. There's also advanced printer setup, which we won't get into because, again, like I said, guys, this is just a basic overview, so nothing advanced. Mouse. So this is specifically if you've already plugged in a mouse, it's working, but you want to change some of the settings. That's where you do it. We won't get too much into device manager because that's a little bit more advanced. I can briefly explain to you guys what this is. So if you were to take apart your computer, each part within the computer plays a different role, right? But within those parts, there are other sort of programming or coding, right, that works with that. And there's a lot of individual parts that work in a computer. So Device Manager helps us manage each and every single one of those individual options. You don't want to go in there if you don't know what you're doing, because you can damage your computer if you don't know what you're doing. I'll click on it briefly just to show you guys what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. And this is all of the hardware within the computer, right? So we have hardware and we have software, right? So hard and soft, right? Software is going to be all of the stuff that we can't touch, right? So the programming, the coding, all of the instructions that tell the computer what to do. The hardware, right? If you think of it the hardware is what we can touch, right? So all of the chips, all of the motherboards, all of the graphics, the graphics card, the control modules, everything within the computer that is physical is hardware, okay? Even outside the computer, right? So a keyboard, a mouse, that's hardware. Your monitor, that's hardware. So in here, you can actually work with and make adjustments to all of that hardware. So in here, there's software that allows these things to run properly. Okay, so if you don't know what you're doing, do not go in here. It is not a good idea because you can damage your computer. So we're not going to get into this just because that's a little more advanced. And then this last one, one of the last kind of like sub options here is change windows to go startup options. So this more than anything is basically, and again, we're not going to get into this because we don't want to, this is more advanced. And it's not something that you guys want to be touching, right? So this creates just basically a separate kind of workstation, but we're not going to get into that. So what you guys will want to do, so now that we're so once again, we're in control panel, we're going to go into hardware and sound, and we're going to just click on the very top, devices and printers. So depending on what you guys have plugged in, if you have already plugged in the printer, maybe you haven't, you're going to see a lot of different things here, a lot of different little icons and little different things, right? And this is just going to tell us, okay, what is plugged into the computer. Now, sometimes the computer can tell us right away. For example, if you buy, I'm using a microphone, so it detects my microphone. It gives me the picture of a speaker, but it's a microphone, right? So Rainier is the brand of my microphone. So usually if you guys buy, it could be a microphone, could be a keyboard, could be a new mouse, maybe a new monitor. You guys know, okay, well, my monitor that I bought is a Dell, for example. Oh, okay. So there I see it, Dell, right? Or, I bought a microphone and I know that the company name is Rainier. Oh, okay, there it is, right? So that way you guys know, okay, what you're looking for. If you're having trouble with your microphone, okay, then we know that we have to go in here, right? If you're having trouble with your monitor, then you have to go in here. So it just depends on what you guys are working on, or what you're trying to fix. In this case, let's say, for example, that we have a printer. So you guys will usually see these icons, and I will explain to you what these are. These usually come standard on Windows operating systems. So you have, it says this is a printer. It's not. This does not mean that you have a printer connected or that you've connected a printer. This does not mean that you have a fax or that you have connected a fax. That just simply means that these are software that's designed to work like a printer. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you guys an example. So let's say, for example, you have a Word document, right? So let's say, for example, somebody sent you their resume, right? Here it is. You can see the resume, or maybe it's your resume, and somebody's asking, hey, can you please send it to me by PDF? Sure. Now, there's two things you could do depending on your computer, depending on how new it is, depending on what software you have. One option is you can go to File, and you can just directly save it as Adobe PDF, right? Now, let's say we didn't have that option. Let's say we didn't have that option at all. And this is with any software. I'm just giving you guys an example on Microsoft, but this is with any software at all. So anywhere that it gives you the option to print, you can actually turn it into a PDF document. So we're going to go to print, and instead of choosing our printer, right? So this is my printer here. Instead of choosing our printer, we're actually going to choose Microsoft Print to PDF. Now, when I hit print, it's not actually going to print anything physical, but it is going to create a PDF document for me. So it'll actually ask me where I want to save it. So if I hit print, it'll open up this for me to save the document, right? So it's not going to print anything, but it'll allow me to save the document and have the PDF version. And that's with anything. That could be a picture that you guys want to print, or I'm just trying to think, documents, could be maybe an article that you found. So that's why this exists here. There are some softwares that allow you to send fax through the computer. You do need a printer to scan and print, but that's why this is here. Microsoft Print to PDF is similar to Adobe. I just have this because I have additional software. So usually you will find this on your computer, Microsoft Print, not this one, but this one. This is a very old software that I'm not sure why they still include it. So I would ignore that. You guys will never ever use this. And this is a software by Microsoft called OneNote. And OneNote is meant to work kind of like a notebook. So it turns your computer into kind of like a notebook. So you could take screenshots of maybe something you're looking at, maybe a website, and it allows you to create notes in case you're working on a project, or you're researching or looking for something. But that's what these are, in case you guys see them and think, why do I have so many printers? I don't have 6 printers, I have 1. Usually these will just come as software. So this is just software. Okay, this doesn't mean that you have 3 more printers or 2 more, or however many you guys have. Now, usually, for the most part, computers nowadays are very, very smart. So you don't even have to do anything. Printers, especially newer printers in 2020, 2021, come with something called plug and play. Now, what does that mean? That simply means that you can open up your printer, plug it into power, put the ink into the printer, and then plug it onto your computer, and that's it. The computer will do all the work. It will install the printer automatically, and you're ready to go. Now, if for whatever reason you're having any issues at all, this is where you have to come to resolve it. So let's say I've plugged in my printer, but I can't get it to print. I don't know what's going on. I see it here, but it's not doing anything. what we can do, remember guys, to get more options, we're going to right click. So we can right click on our printer, and there's a whole lot of options that we get here. Now the most simple option that usually resolves any issues is we can go to Troubleshoot. So we can left click on Troubleshoot, and this screen will come up right here. So it'll just say detecting problems. So it's going to check to see, okay, is there an issue? Is there something going on? You know, I'm not sure, you know, what's happening. And then it will give you an option. It'll say, okay, I think this is going to fix the problem, right? So you guys see here, it says apply this fix. So we can try that, right? So we can say, okay, apply this fix. So it's going to apply the whatever solution it thinks is going to be best. And then it'll say fixed. If everything goes well, it'll be fixed and you'll be able to print again. Now, if it doesn't say fixed or it says there's an error, then you know that there's more that you need to do. One of the other things that you guys can do is if you right click on it again, sometimes you've sent a document to print and maybe the printer wasn't ready, or it was you were turning it on, like maybe you turn it off and turn it on when you're going to use it. So maybe you turned it on and you sent a document, but because the printer wasn't on 100%, it was still turning on, maybe there's an error. So you can click on see what's printing and you'll get a window like this. And usually here there will be a list of documents. So maybe there's a document that you sent, you know, maybe you were trying to print a picture. So it'll say image and it'll say the name of the picture. It'll say what it's doing. And sometimes if it's not working, under status right here under this little column, it'll say error. Okay, and it'll say how many pages, the size, and when it was sent to print. So usually all you have to do is you right click on it and then cancel all documents, or cancel document, and that will usually help clear the jam, right? Sometimes it's like a jam, it gets stuck, right? The other thing that you guys can do as well, if it starts giving you problems or if it's not printing, you can go to properties at the bottom. Okay, and you're going to get this window right here. Now this is a little bit more advanced, but sometimes it helps. And it's not a difficult solution to do. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to update something called the driver. And what the driver is it works with the hardware, right? Remember we talked about that. The hardware is the physical component, right? So the printer. And the driver is the software that helps the computer communicate with the printer, and it helps the printer communicate with the computer. So it's kind of like a translator, right? So the computer speaks Spanish and the printer speaks English, and so the driver speaks English and Spanish. So it can help the printer talk to the computer and the computer talk to the printer. I think that's a simple way of putting it. So once we're in this area, we're going to go to hardware right here at the top beside general, and we're going to see that there's a lot of different functions, right, that are here within the printer itself. So we're not going to look at that just yet. We're actually going to go to click this button right here in the bottom right corner, properties, and it's going to open another window. I don't know why they couldn't have just kept all of this in the same window, but that's okay. So in here, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 different tabs, and then at the bottom there's a button that says change settings. So if we click on that, so we're going to click change settings, and then this window will open up. It looks exactly the same, but now we can make changes to things, okay? So we're not going to go under settings. Settings should be already set up by default. Under details, you're not going to get a lot of information. Under events, you're not going to get a lot more. If everything looks good here, so here it says the device is working properly. Sometimes you'll see more information here, and this is what I want you to look at. Sometimes here it'll tell you, this device is offline, or cannot connect, or having issues communicating. It'll give you something here that'll give you more information, okay guys? But everything else that we want to look at, again, these are just functions, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. This will just tell you, it'll give you more information, but nothing that will be too helpful. Yeah, this is a little more advanced, but everything, for example, here on mine, everything says, okay, this device is working properly. If there was an issue or there was something that wasn't working right, this is where you guys could find it for more information. but I wanted to show you guys how to update the driver, sorry. So just trying to find it for you guys here. Okay, so I guess they've changed things in Windows 10. So, before you used to be able to go to properties like we did, and on here you'd be able to find the device driver, which is what I was telling you guys about. But they've changed it, which is good. This is how we all learn together. So now what you will want to do is if you go to printer properties, and then you go to advanced, you guys will see right here under advanced, you guys will see driver, and that's what I was talking to you about. So that's what helps the computer communicate. Now, if for whatever reason it's not, you're having issues, it's not working, something you can try is you can hit new driver, hit next, and you're just going to hit here Windows Update. Now this could take a while, so it's just going to refresh, and it's going to look for any driver that might help your computer. Once this is finished, you can look for your computer your printer model number, and then select that driver, and it will just basically reinstall the driver, and sometimes that can help resolve issues. Now, as always, guys, this is just a very basic troubleshooting guide. All of the steps that I've shown you here that you can try with the printer, you can try all of the same steps with a mouse, a keyboard, a monitor, anything else, that a microphone, speakers, anything else that you might think of that you can plug into a computer that may be giving you issues. You can try all of these steps. Okay. Control panel is a great way to resolve any issues that you may be having with your computer. Like I showed you guys before, how to uninstall a program, right? That's right through control panel as well. Okay. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know. But that is just a very basic troubleshooting, teaching you guys how to access control panel, and how to see, where to find stuff. So the next and last video is actually going to be a little bit more of control panel. I'm going to show you guys a couple other features, and it's just going to be the basics, and that's going to be our last video in this series, and then that will be it. Hopefully you guys have learned lots, and experienced a lot of great content. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Shoot me an email, give me a call, and I will see you guys next week.